Well, this week, folks, I'm not sick. Well, still a little sick, but I was able to get a video together for the TFC game against Colorado, where TFC won the game, of course, as you know, 1-0 against the Colorado Rapids yesterday at BMO Field. Pretty weird game. The stadium was really slow to fill yesterday with an early start due to television commitments. The game started at 12. And with the Molson Indy blocking dozens of streets and parking areas at Exhibition Place, the stadium really didn't get full until maybe the 25th or 30th minute yesterday, so it was kind of strange overall. Of course, Fawad Ibrahim's first goal in 2 years was the highlight for Toronto FC fans. To his credit, the 19-year-old scored a really nice striker's goal with a couple of Colorado players sort of draped over him deep into the second half to secure the win. Dare I say it was the biggest win of the season for Toronto FC. We had no Sanyang and no Julian de Guzman in the midfield. We didn't have our new player Mista from Spain in the lineup. He's not available, of course, until the international transfer window closes next week, and he can play in Philadelphia, and I'll get to that game in a bit. So on top of that, we had a huge string of draws and drop points at home to consider as well. So picking up the 3 points, considering arguably our best player was on the bench, our replacement striker up top was on the bench, and the fact that we were able to secure the 3 points is an absolutely huge pivotal point, considering that now, starting this week, now with Maicon from Brazil, with Mista from Spain, and we've got a full roster, and it looks like Preki has got the team that he's going to go with for the rest of the season. At least now, going on to that road trip, we've got 3 extra points that we, dare I say, may not have even deserved yesterday. Stefan Fry, frankly, saved the bacon. And that's why I say that. He made 5 big saves by my count, 3 of them late in the game when TFC was really sort of struggling, especially in the last 5 to 10 minutes, to really sort of close Colorado out and secure the 3 points. Dan Gargan is fast becoming, I think, a real fan favorite. Great hustle, great intensity. He took a soccer ball literally right to the middle of his face with about 10 to 12 minutes to go. That literally laid him out for about 30 seconds. TFC was out of substitutions at the time, but he's a real trooper. He managed to not only jump back from that, but to stay solid and help keep the 3 points secured. Maicon Santos, not the real Maicon that played in the World Cup, but the Maicon that played for Chivas under Preki, is now with us, of course, as well, as you all know. He looked, frankly, more Scottish than Brazilian to me. Some clumsy tackling, some really challenging sort of decisions that he made, but he does look to be a Preki kind of player. He's big, he's strong, very muscular on the ball. Kind of a holding striker with his back to the goal type of player. He was released by Chivas because, frankly, he wasn't doing pretty well. I think he's on loan for a team from a team in Brazil, and it remains to be seen if he's going to be more than just a stopgap. But again, based on how well Preki coached and has been coaching this season, I'm going to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. Speaking of coaching, I think Preki did a wonderful job overall yesterday as well with the formation. In the pregame, I talked about how Martin Saric was going to be absolutely key yesterday to keeping Casey and Cummings, the Colorado strikers, off balance and off the score sheet. He was substituted, of course, in the 45th minute. Ibi Ibrahim, the 19-year-old who hasn't scored a goal in 2 years, who I think only started once this season, was subbed in the midfield, and lo and behold, he scores the winning goal yesterday. So I think Preki has kind of earned a bit of a mulligan when it comes to the coaching. Speaking of coaching, as I mentioned, he's got some real serious decisions to make. Mista, the striker from Spain, of course, who the club will neither confirm nor deny if he's a designated player, by the way, when directly asked by yours truly, is going to be, of course, in the lineup next week. There's no way he won't be in the road game against Philly next Saturday afternoon. Who plays up front with him? What sort of formation TFC decides to go with is really going to be challenging as well. O'Brien White and Chad Barrett, unfortunately, haven't scored any goals in MLS competition since May. and we're well into July now, of course. Maicon, the Brazilian that we just talked about a second ago, may or may not play up front with Mista. Maybe Mista plays a single striker role with maybe Dero slotted in behind him, or perhaps they go with a 4-4-2 with maybe Barrett playing more of a wing role to give Mista some space in the middle to work. I'm going to leave that up to Preki. He obviously knows his players and knows what they're capable of more than anybody. But it's going to be really interesting to see, formation-wise, exactly what TFC decides to come out with in Philadelphia next week. I'm thinking they're going to go with the lone striker, with Di Rosario kind of slotted right in behind him. If you're an Arsenal fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. Henry up top with Dennis Bergkamp kind of slotted right in behind. Remains to be seen. But getting back to my original point, I think more than anything else, yesterday's game was, to this point anyways, a huge, huge win. Let's say we drew yesterday. That would have been 4 draws, I should say, in a row. That would have been 4 points out of a total 12 at home. That's the equivalent of 1 win, 1 draw, and 2 losses at home. And that would be unacceptable. MLS, as things historically go, always sort of tightens up as you get towards the playoffs. With Red Bull dropping some points yesterday and TFC picking up points, we closed the gap on second place. And if we keep doing what we're doing, there's a good chance that we may not even have to worry about, scrambling for points at the end of the season to sneak into the playoffs. Maybe getting into the top 2 in the East might be a real possibility for this club. So that's it. There'll be another video blog up on the board after, of course, the Philly game next Saturday. Cheers for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the World Cup, by the way, as much as you have. I'm just filming this just before the game starts. My heart says Holland, my head says Spain, but either way, I think it's going to be a real fun game for a neutral to watch all the same. So cheers for watching, and we'll see you guys on the boards next Saturday.